I boo-hooed. I said, oh, the club put me in there. No. I put myself in there. I did what I had to do as a Hell's Angel.
You know, my daddy always, if you got in a fight and you came home with a bloody nose, did you hit him back? If you didn't hit him back, Dad put you in the car and took you back over there and told you going up in that yard and get your shit done and be a man.
They got their walls drove through by gangs, by the FBI gang, and all that shit happened to that chapter, right? Like those guys go through their being a big motorcycle club, even sometimes just being a small motorcycle club, you go through your.
A lot of people that have come in have seen definitely a change in the club and the direction that the club is going.
I looked out my window and you could see a body laying out in front. And here's this dude running around up there with no, just had his sweatshirt on. And he tells me he's a Hell's Angel. Even after all that, I still wanted to join the Hell's Angels.
People out there, man, that are just natural followers. And they just fall right in line with that type of program. But not 1%ers, man. 1%ers don't ask permission.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin With Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today we're going to talk about the 5 Red Devils who were arrested for a brawl in Saratoga Springs, New York. Before we get started, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell your mother's brother, sister's friend about Chattin With Staxx, the dopest motorcycle content on YouTube. Chattin With Staxx is the best. Fuck the rest. Shout out to everybody out there. I appreciate you. Thank you guys for watching the show. We got a lot to talk about today. Repo, what's going on, man? Gory Roy's in the building. Keegan, what's good? Shout out to Toronto. Man, we got a lot of news. Early start today. Yeah, I got a lot of things to do, so I'm trying to, get it over with, put it to the side so I can handle my business. I got a lot of stuff to do. But there has been a lot of news lately. Let's get right into it. Hey, what's going on? KC, Johnny Weed Seed, how you doing? Herman, how are you? Good morning. Early start today. Dave, what's good? So, we got to talk about these 5 individuals. These are Red Devil members who have been caught up in a biker brawl. Let's see here. Motorcycle club members charged in Saratoga Springs assault. So this all happened on April 11th. Saratoga Springs, New York. Members of a motorcycle club were charged with attempted assault after a disturbance in Saratoga Springs on April 11th, according to Saratoga Springs Police Department. Officers responded after hearing the incident taking place around 2:30 a.m. on Caroline Street. When officers approached the disturbance near the Pavilion Row, they observed 2 men physically fighting and separated and detained them. Authorities began interviews with the 2 men as well as with others in the area. The investigation was also included reviewing camera footage on Caroline Street. Come on, everywhere you go, you're being filmed. So all that, you need to carry yourself like you're being filmed everywhere you go. So the footage revealed that 2 men were walking east on Caroline Street from one bar to another. When they walked by another group of individuals, the group was wearing clothing identifying themselves as members of the Red Devils Motorcycle Club. According to the victim, they asked the members, "What do you ride?" In response, one of the members identified themselves as the enforcer and told the victims to move along. And they did. The victim said the members of the group then followed them to their destination, where they pushed and physically attacked by multiple people. Both men sustained injuries. According to authorities, further review of camera footage revealed the members of the motorcycle club who participated in the incident began to remove and conceal clothing that would identify them as the perpetrators. So they had their cuts on and they took them off after they did this. One of the members involved also had brass knuckles. The following individuals were arrested. 28-year-old Jamal Briggs, charged with criminal possession of a weapon, third degree, attempted gang assault in the second degree. I mean, these are bad charges. Another man was 25-year-old Nolan Emphergram. He's from Ontario. The other one's from Hudson, New York. 31-year-old Jerome Akers from Ontario. So these guys must have just crossed the border, right, to hang out. 47-year-old Charles Collins from Gainesville, New York, attempted gang assault in the second degree. The 25-year-old was charged with tampering with physical evidence. 31-year-old Jordan Prengest from Hampton, Ontario, attempted gang assault in the second degree. Additionally, after conferring with the Sarasota County District Attorney's Office, Saratoga Springs police say individuals were charged with attempted gang assault in the second degree and had the charge upgraded to first degree. So that's not looking good for them. We're going to see how much time someone would get for this. And we'll check federal and state. Excuse me. Let's see here. 3 to 15 years for first-time offenders. Holy shit. And that's for second degree. Let's see what first degree carries. And that's state, right? That's for state charges. They would get 3 to 15 years for first-time offenders. It says New York attempted gang assault in the second degree is a Class C felony, which carries a mandatory prison sentence, typically ranging from 3.5 to 15 years for its first-time offenders because of its violent felony involving physical injury causing aid of 2 or more people. The sentence is severe and often requires significant mandatory minimums. Holy shit. And that's for attempted. So let's see. Let's see about gang assault. 15 years in prison. 15 to 25 years in prison for second-degree gang assault. Wow. All right. In New York, gang assault in the second degree is a Class C felony, typically resulting in 5 to 15 years in prison. This offense causing physical injury with aid of 2 or more people. Convictions include up to 5 years of post-release supervision and fines up to $5,000 in restitution and medical expenses. All right, so now we're going to look at first degree. "25 years in prison for first degree. Conviction of gang assault in the first degree in New York is a Class B felony, which carries a maximum sentence of 25 years in prison." Wow. That's not looking good for them. Let's see. And then they got charges on top of it. So gang assault in the first degree, often now this is the feds, right? Gang assault in the first degree, often prosecuted as violent assault resulting in serious bodily injury under the federal law, typically carries severe penalties ranging from 10 to 20 years in federal prison. Specific sentence depends on factors to the use of weapons and the severity of the injuries and whether the victim was a federal officer. But it typically carries 10 years. So this is not looking good for any of these people involved. Not looking good. So I got a video I'm going to play. Let's check it out.
Saratoga police telling us tonight 5 members of the Red Devils Motorcycle Club were arrested after allegedly attacking 2 men on Caroline Street on April 11th. Officers found the victims fighting and determined they'd been followed and assaulted by multiple people after a brief earlier encounter. The suspects face charges including attempted gang assault, evidence tampering, and criminal weapon possession.
Ooh. And then on top of that, criminal weapons possession. Oh, man. How much? Let's see. All right, let's see. Criminal possession of a weapon typically carries 10 years in prison for a felon in possession. The average range is around 64 to 71 months, 5 to 6 years. However, mandatory minimums could range from 5 years to life, particularly if the offender has prior violent felonies or drug convictions, which can increase the sentence to 15 years or more. And that's just for one charge. So these guys are not, it's not looking good for any of them. If you couldn't see the picture before, these are the 5 guys. They are in a world of shit. All for what? One drunk night at the bar, right? It's crazy. Who else we got in the building? The Copes, how you doing? Peace and Silence, how you doing? Saratoga, right? Saratoga. You can't even honor your own codes. Hey, Lindsay, how are you? Thank you for joining me. I appreciate everything you do for this channel. Mile High Magic, what's up, man? Thank you for joining me today. Where is that at, the Copes? I got some big news about Satan's Choice coming up. Big news. Huge. Where did that happen? So we also have to talk about what's going on in Quebec. Quebec anti-gang patch laws target Hells Angels in Quebec. So it is not looking good with all these new laws that they're trying to enforce. They're starting up there in Canada. And I guarantee you they're doing it in Florida too. That's their goal. Their goal is to decimate these motorcycle clubs and wipe them out. They don't want them to exist, right? So, spring in Quebec means melting snow, maple syrup, and Hell's Angels. Biker gangs with blood-soaked history in the province typically conducts its first run, kicked out with full black leather regalia in early May to reserve its presence after winter hibernation. But this spring, a legal showdown is in the offering. After Quebec government passed an anti-patch law making it illegal to display gang symbols in public. That is a huge blow to the motorcycle club community. So they passed the law. The legislation is an attempt to crack down on a group, the reinsurgents, 25 years after a historic string against it. Lawyers for the bikers have threatened to sue for grounds of free speech, but law enforcement experts say insignia such as the death head patches rather than being mere logos serve as intimidation tactics. Observers expect the legislation to eventually reach the Supreme Court in Canada. Anyone who says it's just a bunch of guys riding motorcycles doesn't know their history, Tom O'Neill said, a retired RCMP officer. It was instrumental in the 2001 operation, springtime, that dealt with major blow to the leadership of the Hells Angels in Quebec. I'll compare it to the Ku Klux Klan, he said. We know how that is intimidating. We know how that brings up bad blood. And it's socially unacceptable, he said. After originating in the mid-century in California, making a name for themselves as outlaws in the counterculture cool, the Hells Angels moved into Quebec in the 70s. Soon there were major players in the sale of cannabis and cocaine across the province, with violent rivalries to go with it. War with the group of bikers called the Rock Machine in the early 1990s quickly spiraled into an all-out carnage with more than 160 people killed in the following decade, which included an 11-year-old boy hit with shrapnel from a car bomb, 2 prison guards, and very nearly the crime reporter Michael Arger, who survived an assassination attempt in the 2000s. After initially turning blind eye to the gangland murders, law enforcement spurred into action after mounting violence against innocent civilians and growing anxiety that the state was losing control of the underworld. I mean, they're probably the ones in control of the underworld up there, right? The Hells Angels leaders such as Mom Boucher became household names in Quebec. I mean, he ended up going to prison for the rest of his life, right? We could have teetered into Colombia situation, which is civil society and the legal system throughout corruption by organized crime. They're probably already there, right? They control the fucking media and everything. So I don't know. Canada seems to be more corrupt than people know. So in March of 2001, Operation Springtime helped turn the tides, leading to more than 100 arrests, including most of the gang's local leaders. The Hells Angels have never recovered their previous clout in Quebec, but drug busts linked to the gangs remain common in the province. The recent arrest of 2 men after the death of a 14-year-old boy whose remains were discovered near the Angels-linked bunker in Frampton, Quebec, was linked to a war between the biker gangs and street gangs. A reminder that they remain a potentially dangerous force. Quebec would not be the first jurisdiction to target bikers' regalia and other gang insignia. Manitoba has barred gang symbols in licensed establishments, while some Australian states have had wide-ranging bans also targeting bikers. You see, this shit's creeping over, and they're going to be doing this in Florida. I hear Texas, too. They're going to fucking try to do this shit in Texas. Quebec Ministry of Domestic Security proposed an anti-gang sign law in December. Legal threats and lawyers for the Hells Angels who did not respond to requests for comment. The anti-patch measure was quietly passed as part of a larger law and order bill on April 2nd. An independent policy body is currently drafting a list of gangs whom the law will apply. Wow, so they could just make their own shit, put it on the paper and say all these are banned. In an interview, La France said he represents freedom of speech, but that organized criminals have been using their symbols to intimidate and extort business owners in Quebec and other provinces. Right now, they are rubbing it in citizens' faces, he said. Quebecers have the right to their own collective rights as well. Few organized crime groups are flagrant in their use of regalia as marketing and intimidation tools. I don't believe any of the shit that they're selling. Juan Shear, who has written extensively about the Hells Angels, the mafia doesn't walk around with M's on their forehead. The Russian mob doesn't have websites. The Hells Angels have a website. Each element of the group's insignia has meaning that's carefully policed by the gang, it says. The Hells Angels guarded exclusively of their brand through legal avenues, such as suing Toys R Us and yo-yo makers in 2012 for trademark infringements by using their own form of rough justice. If the bikers catch someone wearing a patch without authorization, Mr. Shear said, they will beat the crap out of you. Having witnessed the biker war in the 90s close up, at the time when journalists were targeted, Mr. Shear said the anti-patch law is a valid measure to deprive the Hells Angels of some sort of menacing aura. It's not a surprise that Quebec is still the forefront of innovation, ways to make on bikers, because it is in Quebec that they were the most violent. Civil liberties are not so sure in the end justify the means. We renewed Montreal constitutional lawyer. The courts will have to grapple with whether wearing Hells Angels and other symbols pose significant danger of intimidation to justify banning them. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Hells Angels patches intimidate people? There is a breach of freedom of expression. There's no doubt, he said. There's got to be jurisdiction. If the Hells Angels sue and the case is taken up by the courts, it will likely hinge on the factual details related to what the gang's insignia means. Tom O'Neill, the retired Mountie, investigated the group for years and has no doubt about the intimidation factor of a faux patch Hells Angel member, he said. It's the criminal world. It is known that to obtain your patch, you have to participate in serious crimes. That's not true. That's not true. They're blatantly lying on here. Listen, I've interviewed a lot of people, and I've never heard anybody say they had to commit crimes to get their patches. Never. Not one person said, oh, I had to go do this to get a patch. Never. They never said that, ever. On or off camera. They never said it. So all of a sudden they're saying that that's what they have to do to get a patch. Really, really odd. Hey, Mile High Magic, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining me today. We got 40 people in the house. Make sure you hit that like button. So if you guys aren't aware, there was a man in Florida claiming to be holding a yacht for his friend, Donald Trump. He has been arrested, but he was also claiming to be a Hells Angel member. This is a wild story. Here, I'm going to show you a clip of it, and then I'll show you the full video.
But I'm part of the Hells Angels, which protects the United States government, and I'm protecting the president as well.
So he said he's a Hells Angel, and they protect the United States government, and he's protecting Donald Trump as well. So he says he's holding a yacht for Donald Trump, and that he is a member of the Hells Angels.
For your service. But I'm part of the Hells Angels, which protects the United States government, and I'm protecting the president as well.
Well, I mean, we got to get him off the boat. The owner doesn't want him on the boat. He doesn't know who he is.
People are nuts. All right, let's take a look at this. So this happened in Miami. A Florida man is facing charges for allegedly trespassing on a stranger's yacht after telling police he was holding the boat for a friend. The actual owner is President Donald Trump, he said. Miami Police Department on Thursday shared body camera worn video from a yacht standoff after the boat owner reported that an unknown man was aboard his boat. After speaking with the owner, officers boarded the boat and found the suspect casually seated and his legs crossed. And he asked, "What were you doing on the boat?" The suspect said, "I'm holding it for a friend." When officers replied that the owner was standing right there, the suspect countered with, "That's not the owner. The owner is Donald Trump," the suspect said. You guys aren't supposed to be on here because it's maritime law, he said. The officers suggested that the suspect come with them and call his friend Donald Trump. The suspect refused. He said, "I don't have to." The suspect goes on to describe himself as a U.S. Army veteran, though it's unclear whether this is true or not. He further claims he's a member of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, which protects the United States government and protected the president as well. Officers held a brief sidebar to consider how they should get the man off the boat and into custody with a large gap of the water between the boat and the dock. That's when officers learned that the suspect already wanted for allegedly stealing a motorcycle within a prior 48 hours. So he was already wanted. He stole a motorcycle 2 days before that. You mentioned that unless we have something to arrest you on, you're not going to. Well, we do have something to arrest you on, the officer said. But when the suspect asked what it was, the officers just said that they'll explain it later. That's what they always say. Backup from the Maritime Patrol arrived in another boat, and the officers declared taser ready as they prepared to take him into custody. The suspect refused to stand up, however, and said once again that the boat belongs to Donald Trump. The man, whose identity has not immediately been released, was ultimately taken into custody on unspecified charges. Now I'm going to show you the video. Let me let this ad play, and then I'll show you the video. It's so loud. What's going on, man? Thank you for joining me. So I'm going to be doing a show later, right? With some pretty exclusive information that you guys will not hear anywhere else. Some pretty wild stuff. Wait till you hear this shit. You guys are going to be shocked. I'm shocked.
Taser ready. Taser ready. I need you to stand up for
This boat belongs to Donald Trump. You need to call him. None of these are the owners of this boat.
Okay. The owner of the boat. ¿Pero tú lo conoces o no? Él solo subió en el bote. Y me está amenazando. Yo le dije, y hay ropa adentro ahí, está loco.
What's going on?
How are you?
All right. How's it going?
Good.
What are you doing on the boat?
I'm holding it for a friend.
You're holding it for a friend? The owner's right here, though.
That's not the owner.
That's
the owner is Donald Trump, the president. You guys aren't even supposed to be on here because it's maritime law.
You want to go and call him with us? Let's go call him.
No, go call him. I'm not going anywhere.
All right.
You're not going to go?
No,
Listen,
I don't have to. I'm a veteran in the United States Army, and I'm here to protect Donald Trump.
Thank you for your service.
But I'm part of the Hells Angels, which protects the United States government, and I protect the president as well.
Well, I mean, we got to get him off the boat. The owner doesn't want him on the boat. He doesn't know who he is. Never seen him before. So we're going to have to escort him off the boat, and there's about a 3-foot gap between the boat and the dock. So if he's in custody, we're going to have to figure out how to get him. We had to jump on the boat over here.
What's going to happen? You mentioned that unless we have something to arrest you on, that you're not going to go. We do have something to arrest you on. What's that? All right. Yeah. We'll explain it to you later. All right. But I'm not getting off this boat. You're not getting off this boat?
Hanging off the side, waving here to them.
Yeah, I see.
Taser ready.
2248.
Taser ready.
They started on 40th Avenue.
All right. So look, I don't want to cause any commotion. I need you to stand up for me.
This boat belongs to Donald Trump.
Garcia, let's go behind. Again, we want to be cordial. I want to be peaceful as possible. All right. Stand up.
That was
We're going to take you for weapons.
2120. 2124 on it.
Hello. Relax.
That was pretty easy.
Relax. You told me that way.
After they ended up.
I'm Officer Garcia with City Mount Police. We got dispatched here to basically a vagrant male trespassing. He wasn't complying at all. We ended up calling Marine Patrol and our sergeant. We gave him multiple times to get off the boat, but he said that Donald Trump owns the boat. We had to.
What's going on?
How are you?
All right. How's it going?
Good.
What are you doing on the boat?
I'm holding it for a friend.
You're holding it for a friend? The owner's right here.
So loud. What's up, man? Thank you for joining me today. Hope you guys are all having a great Saturday.
Here, though.
That's not the owner. The owner is Donald Trump, the president. You guys aren't even supposed to be on here because it's maritime law.
You want to go and call him with us? Let's go call him.
No, go call him. I'm not going anywhere.
All right.
You're not going to go?
No,
Listen,
I don't have to. I'm a veteran in the United States Army, and I'm here to protect Donald Trump.
Thank you for your service.
But I'm part of the Hells Angels, which protects the United States government, and I protect the president as well.
Well, I mean, we got to get him off the boat. The owner doesn't want him on the boat. He doesn't know who he is. Never seen him before. So we're going to have to escort him off the boat, and there's about a 3-foot gap between the boat and the dock. So if he's in custody, we're going to have to figure out how to get him. We had to jump on the boat over here.
What's going to happen? You mentioned that unless we have something to arrest you on, that you're not going to go. We do have something to arrest you on. What's that? All right. Yeah. We'll explain it to you later. All right. But I'm not getting off this boat. You're not getting off this boat?
Hanging off the side, waving here to them.
Yeah, I see.
Taser ready.
2248.
Taser ready.
They started on 40th Avenue.
All right. So look, I don't want to cause any commotion. I need you to stand up for me.
After he seen that taser and shit, he calmed down real quick, right? Right when they walk by and watch, he doesn't even like flinch or nothing. He's just sitting there.
Donald Trump.
Garcia, let's go behind. Again, we want to be cordial. I want to be peaceful as possible. All right, stand up. So we're going to check you for weapons.
That was easy. So if you're just joining us, Gino, what's going on? Saratoga, great spot for racing. I know, right? Shout out to the Boondocks of North Carolina. Appreciate you. I want all the names of affiliated members in government. Right? It's crazy, man. It's crazy the infringement of rights. I believe the police are the biggest gang out there. So now I want to ask you guys a question, right? And this is a dead serious question. The whole situation with the Mongols and the Banditos. So, allegedly, Mongo gets shot. And then, allegedly, these 5 guys catch a Bandito while he's with his daughter on the back of the motorcycle and beat him and stab him while he's riding with his daughter on the back of the bike. Like, where is the integrity in that? I'm just curious. Like, there used to be a code with people, right? No family, no. I mean, is that all out the window nowadays? It's just, it's crazy. Hopefully, all this violence can die down because the summer's just getting started and it's only going to get worse. And if you guys don't know, we've exposed Spider's club life as being a total fraud. This guy is a complete liar, right? This is the real picture. He photoshops his face onto real Hells Angels bodies. And we're going to keep exposing this guy every chance we get. But this is the real guy. Now, this is the real picture, and this is the Photoshop picture. You could tell. Look at the face. He clearly put his head on this guy's body. That's insane that he would do something like that. I don't think that's going to end well for you there. Look at this. He puts his face on other people's bodies. It's just crazy. Why would you do something like that? Now, that's his Facebook page. And we got a lot more on this guy coming up. But if you guys are just getting here, 5 members of the Red Devils have been arrested for a fight. Midnight Mayhem on Caroline Street. Motorcycle members charged in violent Saratoga Springs assault. What began as a passing question in the early hours of spring morning spiraled into a violent confrontation, now drawing serious felony charges. After authorities say members of a motorcycle club attacked 2 men in downtown Saratoga Springs. That's how you say it. Saratoga, not Sarasota. Saratoga. According to Saratoga Springs Police Department, officers responded around 2:30 a.m. April 11th after reports of a disturbance on Caroline Street after a busy nightlife corridor. When police arrived near the Pavilion Row, they encountered 2 men engaged in a physical fight and quickly moved to separate and detain them. But as the investigation began, piecing together what led to the altercation through interviews and surveillance footage, a more troubling narrative emerged. Authorities say the victim had been walking between bars as they passed a group wearing attire identifying themselves as Red Devils Motorcycle Club members, according to police. The victims asked a simple question: what do you ride? So the victims asked the question, what do you ride? And their response, investigators alleged, was anything but casual. One individual reported identifying himself as the enforcer and told the pair to move along. The victims complied, but police say the encounter didn't end there. Instead, the members of the group allegedly followed the men to their next stop. where the situation escalated into a coordinated assault. Surveillance footage reviewed by investigators appears to show multiple individuals pushing and attacking the victims who suffered injuries in the incident. Authorities allege that after the attack, some of the participants attempted to conceal their identities by removing and hiding clothing associated with the club. In a detail that has heightened concern, police say one of the individuals involved was in possession of brass knuckles during the incident. 5 men have since been arrested in connection with the assault, facing a range of charges, including attempted gang assault, weapons possession. Following consultation with Saratoga County District Attorney's Office, officials confirm that the attempted gang assault charges are expected to be elevated to first degree. And that's not good for these guys. These guys could spend decades in prison for this, significantly increasing the potential of legal consequences for law enforcement. The case underscores the vitality that can arise from a brief encounter when group dynamics identify changes or challenges collide. For the community, it's a stark reminder of the moment of nightlife. Spontaneously can turn dangerous quickly. As the accused move through the legal system, the events of that early morning continue to echo along Caroline Street, where a single question may have sparked more than anyone expected. I mean, these guys that were walking by should have just maybe kept their fucking mouth shut, huh? It's crazy, man. What do you guys think of this situation? 5 guys all arrested just because a guy walked by and said, "What do you ride?" One of them replied, "I'm the enforcer." And then they try to hide their jacket, their cuts after they did this. I mean, you did it with your cut on. It is what it is. I can't tell you how much it means that Satan's Choice is mad at me and ran away from their own challenge. The codes are all gone. With his daughter on the back, I don't care what club they are in, children are off limits. And to beat and stab the father while she's riding with him, that's a no-go. It's crazy what's happening. It really is crazy. I mean, all of that type of stuff is going to have huge consequences, especially with them trying to ban these clubs. Listen, I talk to club members every day, and a lot of them are really good people. They don't have bad intentions. They're not criminals like people think. They're good people. But when people do stuff like that, it's kind of hard to defend the good ones, because it looks bad for everybody. But we're going to have a debate later in the week, next week. Motorcycle clubs are not street gangs. We're going to have a debate about this situation. I think I'm going to bring somebody on who is very opposed to that and think they are. So we're definitely going to have a pretty wild debate over it. But I got a lot more information on the way. Don't worry, I got another show coming a little later on in the day, and you guys won't believe this shit. And it involves Satan's Choice. If you like this show, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell your mother's brother, sister, friend about Chattin With Staxx, the dopest motorcycle content on YouTube. If you want to donate to the show, you can hit up the Cash App at Chattin With Staxx right here. I appreciate every single dollar. It goes a long way. Or you could donate through Venmo, PayPal, Super Stickers, Super Chats, Zelle, all that good stuff. I put every dollar right back into the show so I can bring you the dopest content possible. If you want to tell your story on Chattin With Staxx, which I got a bunch of interviews to do today, I'm going to bring you some new faces. Just hit up my email, billstaxx2021@gmail.com, and we will make it happen. And I don't want you to talk about crime or any of that bullshit. That's not what these interviews is about. It's about your story and how you got involved and stuff like that. I don't want to talk about crime. People, like, I don't even know why people would even say that. That's definitely not the angle that I go with these interviews. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great Saturday. I'll see you guys a little later. And remember, don't be a bitch.
And all new at 5, a major organized crime bust. 23 people under arrest now accused of stealing guns and cash.
Today, police revealed 4 organized crime groups are wreaking havoc.
From aggravated robbery to kidnapping, burglary, and more. Let's take a look at this. New pictures from court documents in this case. These are a few of the people who have been charged. And investigators say the money, tens of thousands of dollars, is all stolen.